What is an augmented chord or an augmented triad? It's a very useful chord, but it doesn't sound like the normal chords you might be used to hearing, major or minor. Augmented, strange word. Have you ever heard it before? Maybe you've read it somewhere. Maybe you've heard of augmented reality. Or maybe someone's lost his job and now needs to augment his income. It means to make larger or to increase. But how can you make a chord larger? Does it mean add more notes? Does it mean add more hands? How can you augment a major chord or augment a triad you already know? Let's take a look at the piano. So a chord we're used to seeing, or you might be used to seeing, is this simple C major chord. We've taken the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is the octave, remember? We've taken the first, the third and the fifth. And that gives us a major chord and a major sound. But how can we augment it? How can we make it larger? Do we suddenly add more parts to it? No. We simply increase one of the intervals, one of the distances between two of the notes. So here's our major chord. You might be used to lowering the third to get a minor triad or a minor sound, but this time we're going to raise the fifth and get this sound. And that is an augmented triad. The first, the third, and a raised fifth. An augmented triad. And again, this is a chord that has an element of tension about it. You wouldn't look to end a song on that chord. It wouldn't sound right. Not right at all. It doesn't settle. Still sounds unresolved. So it's a useful chord to know, but only if you know how to use it. Well, here's an example of how an augmented chord could be used. It could be used at the beginning of a song. Let me show you. Here's something you might be familiar with. G augmented. Happy birthday to you. Now we could have gone happy birthday to you, but making the G augmented by raising the fifth, happy birthday to you, just adds a little bit more flavour in there. And as you learn more chords and more types of chords, you'll have more resources or ingredients at your fingertips which you can choose to use or not to use. G works fine. Happy birthday to you, but what? That sounds a little bit more tense, I suppose. Happy birthday to you. The Beatles use exactly the same idea in their song Oh Darling. They start with this sound before they get into this sound. But perhaps we could use it in a different way. Perhaps we could use it more in the frame of a song, perhaps. Here's a C major chord. I wonder what it would sound like if we turned it into a C augmented chord. C, C augmented, C6, C7, F. Straight old B flat major and back to C. Did you hear that though? Gives us another tool in our toolbox, a C augmented chord. 1, 3, 5 that's raised. Another tense sounding chord, an augmented triad. Keep working hard.